All right, so like I said, the first part of this lecture is medical terminology. It's not in your book, but it's an important aspect of the course and for the program. Essentially, medical terminology is a foreign language. Like any foreign language, there's rules, there's paths to follow, there's things to remember. You can't possibly memorize every single word in a language, but you can understand how to read the language. So that's basically what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to give you a way to look at words and word parts and break them down. And so when you come across this big, huge medical term, you're able to look at the parts, break it down, and kind of get an idea. I've been a nurse for 16 years. There's medical terms out there that I have never, ever seen before, ever. But if you can look at them and break them down, you kind of have an idea of what they're talking about. You may not know exactly what it is, but at least you know you're talking about the stomach versus the big toe, something. All right, so a little background. Most word origins in medical terminology come from the Greek or Latin. We also take some word parts from mythology, some acronyms. Anybody know what an acronym is? Exactly. Take the letters and it creates another word. Or eponyms. Eponyms are words that are, or terms that are named for the people who discovered them or invented them or identified them or things like that. Lots of word parts come from the Greek and the Latin. Most of our terminology, again, comes from Greek or Latin. So, for example, if we're talking about the kidney, in Latin, the term reno means kidney. In Greek, nephro. Now, if I put that together with an ending like ologist, an ologist is somebody who specializes in. So if I said this person was a nephrologist, then you would know that person specializes in the study of the kidneys. If I said something like the renal artery, you have tons and tons of arteries in your body, but renal artery goes to the kidneys because it has that word part in it. Latin, Greek terminology not only pertains to medical terms, but also a lot of the English language as well. There's lots of terms that have semi and hemi in them. Both of those mean half. Super and hyper both mean above or in excess. Hyper, hyperactive, right? Look at my kids, hyperactive. In excess of active. Hypertension, blood pressure above the normal. More complicated words that refer to the spine, spondylo and vertebra. So if you're looking at a big complicated word and you're talking about spondylolisthesis, I don't know what it is, but it's got something to do with the spine. So mythology also gives us some word terms. Somnos. Somnos was the Roman god of sleep. From somnos we get the word somnolent. If somebody is somnolent, they're very sleepy, very difficult to arouse. Thanatos was the Greek god of death. From Thanatos we get the term euthanasia. That beginning part there, that prefix EU, means good or normal. So euthanasia literally means condition of good death. Psyche. Psyche was the Greek goddess of the mind and spirit, so lots of words come from psyche. Psychotic is one. What's another one? Psychology, psychiatric. Hygeia was a Greek goddess of health. From her we get hygiene, hygienic. Venus was the Greek goddess of beauty. From Venus we get VD, venereal disease. It's just not fair. Psyche was psychotic, Hygeia was hygiene, and Venus got VD. Morpheus. What character do you know as Morpheus? Who's Morpheus? Matrix. Very good. Make sense now? Morpheus was the Roman god of dreams. And from Morpheus we get morphine. Hypnos was the Greek god of sleep. So from hypnos we get hypnotic, hypnosis, hypnotherapy, and Lethe. Lethe was a mythological river that flowed through Hades. And it was said that if you touched the waters in the river Lethe, you would fall into a deep trance-like sleep. So from Lethe we get the term lethargic, which like somnolent means very difficult to arouse. All right, some acronyms. Remember, acronyms take the first letter of each term and put them together to create a new term. Laser is actually an acronym. It stands for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. TURP, T-U-R-P, stands for transurethral resection of the prostate. It's a type of surgery. It's a whole lot easier to document a patient had a TURP instead of writing out that whole big long procedure. And the next one, eponyms, are terms that get their name from a person or a place. And it's usually the person that first discovered it or the place it was invented or identified. So somebody give me an eponym. I'll start. Alzheimer's disease, Lou Gehrig's disease, Parkinson's disease, Crohn's disease, Pick's disease, Lyme's disease. Lyme's disease was first identified in Lyme, Connecticut. Let's stop there for the moment. You guys take your break. Get something to drink, get up, walk around. I strongly encourage you to get up out of your seats, and I tell my classes this all the time. Get up out of your seats because you're in these seats all day. 20 minutes.